Welcome, everyone, to Late Night with BS3. And tonight we are recapping the Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League Vegas Pro Camp. This was an invitation-only camp, and it was very entertaining basketball. Also, there was pro scouts that were there. Jason Maxiell, former NBA player, played for the Detroit Pistons, also is playing in the Big Three. It was in Vegas. It was a very exciting time. Also, for me, it was really cool to see some new players. You know, some that I haven't seen before. So I'm glad that I was able to cover this and to get also some insight on some new players. So we got highlights tonight from D-Lo produced it, and AFI and Corp. They tag team together to do a great job with a promo and a highlight reel. Also, we got some awards as well that we'll be touching on. That was, first team, second team that was involved with the Vegas Pro Camp. So they had a set of 4 teams. So they had the white team, steel, yellow, and black. The black team was coached by Jason Maxiell. The yellow team was coached by Paul McKeskey. He's a former NBA player. So they had a lot of NBA guys involved in the room. And this Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League, what they do is they help young men to not only grow in basketball, but also grow in life, and also give them opportunities to make it in the pro game. And if that's overseas, if that wherever that may be, their main goal is to give them an opportunity to play overseas or play in a pro league somewhere. So that is one of the exciting things about this league. I'm always passionate about being able to cover it because I respect a lot of what they do. So this was filled with former, current, and aspiring professional players. It was in Vegas during the NBA Summer League. So, like I said, we have some highlights coming up. Big shout out to Vince Wright. He's tuning in over on the Facebook side. Thank you for tuning in. If you're tuning in on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, click that bell. If you're tuned in on Facebook, make sure to give us a thumbs up and share. If you're tuned in on Twitter, make sure to share and give us a thumbs up there as well. So the camp kind of started off with really just warming up and the guys doing drills, agility, 3-on-3, doing the shooting drills, post-up drills. It was really something that I thought was great for these players because you're being able to learn from some of the best that have done it, or those that have been around some of the best that have done it. So I was excited definitely to see how this was going to pan out and how it was going to go. And I thought it went very well because, again, this Creating Young Minds League, if you haven't heard me cover this or talk about this at all, I'll just say that what they do is truly helping young men be better at life. Like I said, not just basketball, but be better at life. And to also give them opportunities to do their thing, not just in the TBL, which is the basketball league, but also, across the country and even overseas. So that's one thing that I preach on and that I respect about this organization. So the first game that was up was Team Black versus Team Yellow. Team Black, again, like I mentioned, was coached by Jason Maxiell. Team Yellow was coached by Paul McKeskey. He's a former NBA player and scout. And also he coaches in the TBL, which is the basketball league. So Gabe Hobbs, big shout out to Gabe Hobbs doing the commentating. Also, Jeremy Burright doing the commentating as well. They kind of did a tag team, went back and forth both games. If you're interested in checking out these games as well, I want you to go to this website right here, creatingyoungminds.com. uscreen.io. You'll be able to find the games, find out when they're played. They just finished this Vegas Pro Camp. They also did a summer league. Probably coming up, they'll have the Undiscovered League, which I covered some of that as well. So Daniel Green Sports Management was in the building doing scouting. Also on the Team Black, they had Maximus Kirk. Look that name up. He won the Big 3 tryout here in Dallas. So he was on the Team Black team. Also, big shout out to Austin Wire. Austin Wire, he plays for the TBL team, so the Louisville Leopards, and he's been doing a hell of a job in this Vegas Pro Camp. His mid-range is on point, and he was 3 for 3 early in the game. Also, Charles Rambo was also doing a great job. He had 2 quick buckets. So this game was the closest out of all of them. Team Yellow was up 20-9 and at the end of the first. Black team doing a great job with defense. They started to kind of lock up. Team Yellow, big shout out to Alan Smith. Alan Smith was playing lights out. This is a young kid. I believe he's 18, 19, or 20. And that's the good thing about this league also is that they have guys of all ages, playing against each other, but also helping these guys be better and helping them to get opportunities to play well. I never seen you before. Why you keep popping in my phone? Comment from somebody on YouTube. I don't know. That's the YouTube suggestion. YouTube suggested a video for you, probably because some of the other content that I've had. That's kind of how YouTube works. If you subscribe or if you've watched the video before of something that I posted, it'll suggest the video to you, or you may be interested in basketball or something. Also, you had, like I said, Alan Smith doing a really good job, man. And so at the half, it was 41-21. They were up by 20, Team Yellow. And I'm not sure why you got suggested this video or not, but thank you for coming by. Just leave us a thumbs up and maybe check out some of the other content. Maybe something that you watched was connected to something that's on my YouTube page. So Team Yellow pulling away 55-38 over Team Black. Team Black needs to communicate better. I put that down in my notes. I think it's important, obviously, on defense and offense that you're connecting and that you're communicating with each other. Team Yellow pulling away in the fourth, up by 17. Team Black hitting shots and playing great defense. And, this was a game where, it was close. It was close towards the end. But early on, Team Yellow really had the lead and end up coming down to it. The Team Yellow ended up winning. And a big-time shot for Alan Smith. Like I mentioned a while ago. Alan Smith playing great basketball. He ended up hitting a clutch 3 to put Team Yellow up by 3. And Team Black tried to make a comeback. It did not end up working out. But a great effort. This was a great game as well. And Team Yellow pulls away. Like I said, I'll have some highlights and also the awards for this Vegas Pro Camp. So you'll get to see first team, second team. So I'll talk about that. Once again, we're talking about the CYM Undiscovered League Vegas Pro Camp. So if you go to creatingyoungminds.org, also go to the other website down below so that you can check out all of the info. So Alan Smith with 23, big man of the day. Also Austin Wire with 23. Austin Wire also had 11 rebounds. And Alan Smith was just pretty much a scoring machine. And that was a huge impact on how they won. Maximus Kirk with 11 William Benjamin with 16. Charles Rambo, I mentioned him with 11. And David Stinson with 10. He had 28 points off of turnovers for the Yellow, Team Yellow. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, Team Yellow was coached by Paul McKeskey. And you could just see how Team Yellow started to really pick it up, especially in the second half. Also, there was 21 fast break points for Team Yellow. The biggest lead was 22 for Team Yellow. Obviously, you could see that they came out, did their job, did what they had to do, and took care of business. That was the first game. That one was close. All of the other games, quite honestly, weren't as close. There was like 20 point leads in the amount, the deficit of victory was a lot higher, but we will also touch base on those here coming up in a couple minutes. But it was good to see, like I said, some new faces. Good to see some old faces and some familiar faces too. Alan Smith is a guy that I've talked about numerous times. He plays well whenever he has the ball in his hands and whenever he's on the court. So going over to game 2, we had Team White versus Team Steel. Once again, there was 4 teams in this league: Team White, Team Black, Team Steel, and Team Yellow. So going into this next game, one of the big time players was a guy by the name of Rustin Haywood. He plays in the TBL, which is the Basketball League. And you can also check out the Basketball League by going to this website that I'm going to put up here as well. But I mean, Rustin Hayward was just money, the entire game. He ended up dropping 31 in the game, was 10 for 18, 11 for 22 field goals. And they did not win the game. Team Steel did not win. If you look at on the other side, you had Zachary Hinton with 23. You had Tajay Byers with 10, Jazz Bajwa with 16. And the white team might just had a better, team effort, I believe, throughout the game. But Rustin Hayward plays for Houston Push in the TBL, which you can just Google the Basketball League. And if you Google that, you'll be able to find that website, thebasketballleague.net. And what they do is they do a basketball league all throughout the country, have different teams all over the country. And they're probably, I would say, the third top basketball league in the country, behind the NBA, behind the CBA, behind the WNBA. And also they help funnel guys to, all over the country and give them opportunities again to play basketball. So Team White playing sound on both ends. Haywood for the Team Steel just gets a bucket before the buzzer, before halftime. It was 33-27. The team was leading at the half. Zachary Hinton, Team White, continuing the ball throughout the third. Tajay Byers catches a body. Hopefully, I believe that is in the highlight reel that we'll go over. It was 48-38, Team White leading after 3. Team Steel trying to make a comeback. It did not work out. And Team White wins 64-51. Go to the website down below so you can check out what's going on in the Creating Young Minds organization and in the league. Big time. Shout out again to Zachary Hinton with 23. Taj Byers with 10. That was kind of the leaders for Team White. Rustin Hayward with 31. Everyone else was in single digits. So even though Rustin Hayward had a great day, it honestly was not enough, because whatever he did do, that did not necessarily help his team overall win. And, one of the guys on his team was a guy by the name of Basil Harford. And he only had 7 points in his first game. But the second game, when I talk about how well he did, you'll be definitely impressed, because he stepped his game up big time from the first game to the second game. So that just tells you that, hey, you may not perform well in the first game, or you may not perform well in your first opportunity, but don't give up. Take advantage of, the next opportunity that you have. And especially them being able to play in front of all these scouts, I think also helped to elevate a lot of these guys' game, because, you get another opportunity to hopefully, make yourself into a pro athlete. So points off of turnovers was very close. For Team White, it was 19. For Team Steel, it was 18. Fast break points were also close. For Team White, it was 15. For Team Steel, it was 17. Also, bench points were exact, 7 and 7. Points in the paint, Team White had more with 36. And that was a big contributor to them winning this game. Biggest lead, Team White, was by 16. And they end up winning that game 64-51. Again, this was an invite-only league and an invite-only pro camp. And at the beginning of each day, because they had 2 days, what they really did was help to improve these guys' skill. And that was another thing that I was just impressed by. I mean, I think it's easy to just, come in and just play basketball. But I think they were very focused on helping these guys be better in basketball and teaching them some of those skills that they may not know, teaching them some of those skills that they may need help on. So that was definitely impressive, and that was something that I was excited about and how they were doing. All right, so we're going to go over to game number 3. We had 4 games. It was over a course of 2 days. And the game 3 was Team Steel versus Team Black. If you remember, I brought up Basil Harford, and he only had 7 points in the first game. When the second game, he 100% redeemed himself with 34. And shout out to CYM Basketball tuning in. Said we had former NBA players and coaches teaching young men as well as coaching them. Yeah, it was great to see. It was great to see. And really helping them with their form, helping them with what they do and how they do it. So thank you for coming through on this live broadcast. So Team Steel, really, I think Basil Harford bouncing back with 34 on the day. DeMichael Stribling with 11. Patrick Savoy Jr. with 16. And then Rick Curry, I think, has one of the best down-low games with 11. This was a close game early on, all the way up until the fourth quarter. First half, that was 35-37. Third quarter, at the end of the third quarter, was 47-47. And then at the end of the fourth, Team Steel actually ended up winning 84-66. Going over to Team Black, I want to give a shout out to Maximus Kirk, Like I said, he won the Big 3 tryout here in Dallas, and he was playing well. He had 13 points, 2 assists. Ruben Acosta, another guy that played well in both games, he had 19. He had 5 on the day. William Benjamin had 19. William Benjamin was a little bit shaky in that first game. Second game, he definitely bounced back. And then Charles Rambo with 16 on the day. Ruben Acosta, he had 5 points, 7 assists. Also, when you're looking at rebounds, Michael Stribling, which I've been talking about him over the past couple of weeks, he had 9 rebounds on the day. And then Basil Harford had 9 rebounds on the day. So when you look at where it mattered most, and I think where it mattered most definitely for the steal was the second chance points. They ended up having 22 second chance points, 7 for Team Black. That was, I think, a major difference. Everything else was pretty close. Points in the paint, Team Steel with 46, Team Black with 30. Team Steel, the biggest lead they had was 20 points overall. So Team Steel ended up winning 84-66. And again, when it comes down to just this organization really helping these young men be better at life and basketball, and also helping them to get opportunities. So that was the third game on the day. The fourth and final game on the day was Team White versus Team Yellow. And they had, it was actually on 2 days. So they had 2 games on one day, 2 games on the other. This one was only close in the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, it was 15-15. And from there on, really Team White just ran away with this game. Ran away. They were up 36-22 at the end of the second quarter, 58-33 at the end of the third, and then 75-53 at the end of the fourth quarter. Team White, another name that I've already talked about, Zachary Hinton with 15, Nakim Oji with 11, Terrence Reese with 10. I mentioned him on the past show with the Summer League. He was doing this thing again. And then Jazz Bajwa with 30 on the day. He went 4 for 6 from the 3, really showing his offensive prowess. Going over to Team Yellow, this had Alan Smith. Alan Smith had a so-so of a day with 9 points. Trenton Washington with 14. And then Austin Wire with 13 and 10. So he had a double-double on the day. And Team White did their thing in this final game. When you look at points over turnovers, Team Yellow actually won that with 22 compared to Team White's 19. Fast break points, Team White with 25, Team Yellow with 7. And then bench points, 30 for Team White, 18 for Team Yellow. Team White, their biggest lead was 28 points. And they showed dominance. They had 32 minutes with the lead throughout this entire game. So that just tells you there that, these guys played hard the entire game, and they did their thing the entire game. There wasn't any letting up at all, and they just showed that they were the more dominant team. So with the CYM Undiscovered League Vegas camp, each team doing their thing, also getting helped, like the comment said, by former NBA players, current NBA players, and also coaches teaching young men as well as coaching them. But let's get to the first team, second team. Also, we have honorable mentions at the guys and how well they did. So starting off with the first team, Jazz Bajwa at 6'5". He made the first team. If you've seen in this last game, he dropped 30 on the day. Also, let me go to my other stat sheet that I had here, which also will give you the breakdown as far as points on how well each one of these guys did. So let me pull that up. I meant to have that pulled up. But Jazz Bajwa dropping 30 on the final day. He was just showing his offensive abilities. And these guys can truly play basketball, and they truly have the skills to do it. And creating a minds Undiscovered League is giving them even further opportunity. So Jazz on the weekend had averaged 23 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. That's why he made the first team in this Vegas league. Rustin Hayward is a 6'6", plays for the Houston Push in the TBL. He was also on the first team. He did his thing as well. He averaged 31 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. That's another guy. Also, Basil Harford, 6'4". Like I mentioned, he didn't start off as well, but he averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. This is over a course of 2 games. Zachary Hinton, 6'7". He was playing well both games. The 2 games that I watched, he played both games well. And he averaged 19 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists on the weekend. And then Austin Wire, big shout out to Austin Wire, 6'8", center, mid-range game was killing all day long. The mid-range game was just on point. That's what he does all the time that I've watched. He does that extremely well. That mid-range, getting the rebounds. So on the weekend, he averaged 18 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. So just an all-around great game. Going over to the second team, William Benjamin, 6'10". He's on the second team. Didn't start off as well, but what do most coaches or people say? As long as you finish strong. And so William Benjamin, let me go to his stats here. 17 points, 5 total rebounds on the weekend. Also, Tajay Byers, 7-foot center, was also one of those guys that did not start off as well, but he finished strong. He had 8 points, averaging 8 points. Also 3.5 rebounds, 1 assist, and also 2 blocks. So that's what you want your big man to do: rebound, block, and play that down low game. Rick Curry, 6'10". I've been watching him play for the past probably for this whole year almost. And like this guy's game, I like his positive attitude. He played with the Jamestown Jackals in the TBL. He had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, also 0.5 steals and blocks. So just showing what he can do. Another extremely talented young man, Alan Smith, 6'2". Alan Smith played just to dominate in this one. And specifically that first game, hitting the game-winning 3. He had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. So just showing what he can do throughout this entire Vegas Pro Camp. And then Ruben Acosta, 5'11". Ruben Acosta really doing his thing as well. Just got familiar with him in the Summer League. But Ruben Acosta with 7 assists, 5.5 assists. 7 points, 5.5 assists is what he was averaging, and 2 steals. Really playing that true point guard role. And so I'm looking forward to watching more of him play in the future. And honorable mentions, Trenton Washington, 6'1", Trenton Washington, who was tearing it up in the CYM Summer League. And when it comes down to what he did in the Vegas weekend, let me go to his stats. 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 3.5 steals. So really showing his defensive prowess. DeMichael Stribling with 6'7". I like this guy's game. I was talking about him a lot in the past show, but 11 points he averaged in 9 rebounds in this Vegas weekend. Also, Markel Devers, 6'5". Watched some of him and got familiar with him in the past summer league. And Markel, let me go to Markel's stats here. Excuse me. 6 points, but 8 rebounds he averaged. So rebounding machine, doing his thing. Definitely impressed. Patrick Savoy Jr., 6'5", showing what he can do. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. And last but not least, Charles Rambo. I've been watching him for the past couple months, throughout this year. And he's, whenever I watch, man, he is active on the floor. He's going to get you some quick buckets, and he's going to get back on defense. So his total day, 13 points, or weekend, 13 points, 3 rebounds, really showing what he can do. So those were your awards for this CYM UL Vegas Pro Camp. So the leading overall scorer, I'm pretty sure I know who it is, but I just want to double check and see. Excuse me, Rustin Hayward with 31 points as what he averaged. Your top rebounder, kind of a little bit of a tie. Well, no, actually, no tie. Austin Wire was the leading rebounder. When you look at assists, and I believe it was Ruben Acosta. Yep, Ruben Acosta leading in assists. And when you look at steals, Trenton Washington with 3.5, but it was not him. Terrence Reese, 5 steals is what he averaged. So that just tells you that these guys are playing on both ends. This isn't just, I'm just going to play offense and just kind of lay back. All the coaches, all the individuals that were coaching these guys up and also teaching them preach defense. Big shout out to DeLauren. She is D-Lo produced it. We'll get to the highlights reel that her and AFI and Corp put together. And then blocks. The leading blocker was Tajay Byers with 2. So, man, this just shows, in the time that I've covered CYM, which is Creating Young Minds, they put on a showcase. When they put on the showcase, they definitely do it right. Make sure to check out the content, creatingyoungminds.uscreen.io. Also, you can go to the website. The link is also on that website as well, creatingyoungminds.org. Thank you for the thumbs up for Vince Wright, Barbara Worth, and Taylor Dean CSA. Make sure to check my guy out. Go to Go to Facebook, type in Taylor Dean CSA. You'll get out more information from him. He is the common sense advocate. Everybody needs a common sense advocate in their life. So let's get to the reel of plays. Like I said, I've been preaching it, put together by D-Lo, produced it, AFI and Corp. So you can see some. All right, so that was that highlight tape, D-Lo and AFI and Corp. Make sure to follow both of those guys, the content that they put out. make sure to also follow Creating Young Minds. So Creating Young Minds on all avenues of social media, so you can be on top of all the content that they're putting out, all the leagues that they're doing, and just the great organization that they are. And thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Late Night with BS3, CYM Undiscovered League Vegas Pro Camp. And make sure to follow me as well, BS3 Radio, on all avenues of social media. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, share. If you're watching, wherever you're watching, share the show, share the content, and make sure to follow all those people that I mentioned. And last but not least, go to creatingyoungminds.org so that you can be on top of everything. And thank you so much. So thank you, Ben. We thought we were watching ESPN. I appreciate that. That's a big shout out to D-Lo and AFI. I'm just playing it, but they do a great job of what they do. All right, so thank you for tuning in tonight. We will be back on Monday with the BS3 Radio Awards, the second annual BS3 Radio Awards. You put that graphic up right there. It'll be Monday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern. Go right to that link, facebook.com/BS3 Radio. We'll be giving out awards. Also, we'll be talking about the Supporter of the Year. And it's going to be a fun time. So I highly suggest you tune in. And you guys have, let me clear that graphic there. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you to CYM for the opportunity to cover you guys. I appreciate it. And looking forward to covering more content for you guys. So have a great rest of your weekend and night. And we will be back.